Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Full Scope Comic Podcast, Episode 1. We are here today to talk about a lot of different things. Off the top, especially the Shang Chi trailer that just dropped moments ago. So that'll be a topic that we talk about today. And with me today, I have my brother-in-law, Sam. Sam, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, everybody. We just watched the Shang-Chi trailer just a few times, frame by frame even. So we will definitely dive into that, as well as Loki and maybe a few other Marvel projects going on in the gaming world.
Yeah, there's a lot of going on.
Yes. No, it's been a good few weeks, and it's going to be a good year following.
Feed me.
Yes.
Keep feeding me.
Yes. 4 movies in 6 months? Yes. Inject it.
Yeah, and What If?
Yes, we've got.
And Hawkeye.
Finish Loki.
And Loki, yeah.
Yeah.
What other? Does Ms. Marvel come out this year or is that next year?
It's this year. Yep. So
we
get 4 shows, 4 movies, a game, and updates to the Avengers games.
Man, there's so much going on right now. And even Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad trailer.
I'm excited for DC things too.
Yeah, but DC kind of let me down because their content right now is crap.
Yeah, we got the Flash to look forward to.
Oh, man, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Michael
Supergirl.
Keaton,
Yep.
back. Who else? Oh, I saw an image of Ezra Miller
Yep.
with the Flash ring,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh
Yep.
boy.
Between that and his new suit and just multiverse stuff, I think we're in for a treat there. But let's dive into some Marvel stuff.
Okay, so first, let's talk about the Avengers Square Enix game, the update that it come with.
Yeah, so me and Josh, we started playing the game a little bit when it came out. I beat the story, and that's pretty much where my adventure ended. And
I haven't even finished the game. I don't even know where I'm at in the game because I was like, I pre-ordered the game obviously, and I was like super excited to play it, and then I heard like some pretty bad reviews about it, and I'm like, man, I don't want to play this game now.
Spider-Man being exclusive didn't help.
Yeah, well, and Miles Morales came out like around that time, and I was more invested in Miles Morales.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I've been keeping my eye on it, seeing what's happening, and I know Black Panther's going to drop within the next few months, and they had a Tachyon event where you could play as any hero you wanted, and that almost drew me back in, but now it's a permanent feature that you can get 4 Hulks, Super Slam, and just...
Oh.
So you can all play the same person.
Oh, okay.
Should have been there from the start, but...
well, with Loki now, you can say it's a multiverse Hulk.
Yes, exactly.
They're just pulling from the multiverses now.
Yeah, one's going to wear a suit, another one's going to wear something, but yeah, I think that will actually pull me back in, and hopefully me and Josh will hop online together and mess up some people.
Yeah, well, I haven't even played online. That's the thing. It's like I started the story, and then I don't even know. I think I got... I don't even remember where I got. That's how little I've played.
I want to be honest with you guys. Fortnite drew him back in.
Yeah.
He's got a child, and that's all he can afford to play right now.
It's like 2 games here and there.
Yeah, but...
Or hop on and swing around as Spider-Man for like 15 minutes and do nothing. Just swing.
Yeah. No, I think Avengers it didn't set itself up super well because they had to build out so many different characters and so many different movesets and so many different things. But we see that Square Enix, I think it's Square.
Yeah, Square Enix.
Is coming out with the Guardians of the Galaxy game where the whole team is there, but only Star-Lord is playable. So I'm hoping they refine his moveset, and build out his set super well. So
and I've seen people complain about that. Like, I don't want to play as just a Star-Lord. Star-Lord's the worst character of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
One, it's like, I would rather play as one character so I can focus more on like the story. Mm-hmm. Where like in the Avengers game, you have to learn all their different powers. Which I mean, I guess it's not hard, but I would rather just have a single character focus, and then maybe like in a side mission you can play as Drax or Rocket, because you know I like my favorite Guardian is Rocket. So it'd be fun to play as him.
I think Avengers spoiled, and I don't think it set the precedent. But like you think about any other game ever, you play as one person, you play as one character.
Yeah, you're
and like
Laura
most,
Croft.
Yeah,
or
most of the movesets, are run, jump, sprint, hit, maybe shoot, and mechanics come down to like how's the aiming system, how did the guns function, how do weapons operate, and Avengers was different. That everything was different. So I'm hopeful with this Guardians of the Galaxy game that they just hone in and make it feel like every other game does, like unique. And I think they've already, from what I've seen, set the universe up super well. But other than that, there's not a lot of Marvel stuff going on with games.
Yeah, and with talking about the Avengers game, if I could have played as one character, like with a through line the whole time, like my favorite character is Thor, and if I could have played as Thor from start to finish, I would have rather done that. And then as you go through, I mean, obviously you go through and play as each player.
Yeah,
but
they force you through.
But yeah, they're like, I don't want to play as Kamala Khan all the time, but they're gonna make you play as Kamala Khan and walk through the ship and like find things or whatever. Or I don't want to play as Black Widow.
That's the bad part about having so much diversity, is that when you're given the things you don't like, you still have to bear with it. Yeah,
it's forced upon you no matter what. So
they're like, hey, here's a tutorial, and this whole section is this hero, and you have to wait and get through it.
What was it? The danger room or the
the red room.
Yeah,
I think.
Whatever.
The havoc room.
Yeah,
something like that.
the room where you're like you're made to do it and you don't want to do it.
Yes.
I got to. I think I got to like the second. I got in the game to where I was doing like I was Iron Man and that, and I'm like, piss on this. I do not want to do this.
I don't want to do simulations.
Yeah,
but
it's so stupid. but I mean, I did it. It was just like that's one thing that turned me off of the game. Is because I was like, I don't want to go, 4 characters through and then have to do this again.
Yeah, I think their expectation was like, oh, we're going to set you up to keep playing and do multiplayer with all these different characters. In reality, most people were like, let's just finish the story and then I can hop on and do like in-game stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the microtransactions.
Oh, yes.
Like,
how you have to buy armor and get costumes and stuff. Like, I miss unlocking stuff by just playing the game. Yeah.
Putting in the hours.
Yeah.
Putting in the man time.
Yeah, I think an option to buy it, if it's also in the game unlockable, it's not an issue, but microtransactions is like a whole other beast.
Oh, I know. They had the Thor costume. It was the unworthy Thor from the comics, and I was like one of my favorite comics. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy that, and it was like $14.99 for a suit, and I'm like, why even? Why?
Josh is subscribed to the Fortnite crew, and so am I, just so you know.
Yeah. That's the only thing I'm subscribed to on video games. $11.99 a month, not too bad. Yeah. But, I mean...
Well, we're on Fortnite a whole lot more than...
Yeah, exactly.
Than Avengers. Yeah, we don't hop on and get a round of Avengers in.
Yeah. But, I mean... The microtransaction, like you said, it's a whole nother beast. But, like the Avengers Endgame suits.
Oh, yeah, I heard.
I would love to have the Thor suit, and I would love to have a Fat Thor.
I can only
but I'm not going to pay $25 for a Fat Thor video game, character. Or an Iron Man. I mean, all the suits in Endgame are my favorite suits. Like, the Iron Man suit looks old school comic-y, kind of. It's got like not old school comic-y, but it's got that mixture with the legs and the Captain's America suit. It's got the scales.
Yep.
And the scales, I'm like that's peak Captain America right there. Yeah. So give me that.
They did it so well.
And even Professor Hulk, a lot of people dog on his character in the movie, but he was one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah, some nice weird comic relief from the Hulk and Bruce.
Yeah.
Whoever he was.
Yeah. Mulk. But, I mean, the microtransactions. And I'm hoping that the microtransactions don't come through on the Guardians game.
Oh, I think I heard that they're officially not doing anything with microtransactions.
Yeah. See that?
God bless.
Yeah.
Like, you just get to boot up a game, play the story, enjoy it, and like everything there.
Yeah, that just ruins it when you have to like, oh, if you want this, you're gonna have to pay this. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah, and then we also don't get Spider-Man because we're on Xbox right now.
But isn't there a tease for Spider-Man in Avengers game?
I don't know.
I thought that's what it said. That it teased it.
We didn't do our research on this part.
Yeah, we didn't.
We just watched trailers.
I was gonna say the only reason we brought it up is just because I saw it on Twitter today, and I'm like,
Yes.
I haven't even played that game.
Twitter, our lone source of information. Okay, I think we should transition and talk about the meat of our podcast today. That we're gonna talk about Loki and the trailer that we just watched.
Yeah.
So I leave it up to you, Josh. What do you want to spend the whole podcast talking about? Because whichever one we choose first is going to be the whole thing.
Man. Okay, let's talk about the Shang Chi trailer since
Okay.
it's like the freshest
Heck yeah.
thing.
So okay,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Probably the most excited I've been about a Marvel movie or trailer in well over a year. Because Black Widow, I'm like, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy it, I'm sure. But
I'm just kind of done.
Yeah, I don't really care that much because I'm like, it's delayed a year and we're just waiting. And Eternals, they didn't really show much. I was like, okay, we got this group of people and Ripped, Kumail.
Yeah.
And this one was like, oh yeah, we need a martial arts Marvel movie. Because we haven't had anything since Daredevil, Iron Fist, and really the Defenders.
Mm-hmm.
So to have this and with superpowers,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That I feel the same way. Like Black Widow is one of those things where I'm like, just give me the movie. Just give me the movie. Just give me the movie.
I'll watch it at home.
I'll watch it at home. I'm gonna enjoy it at home. You know, Disney Plus. I will pay the premium price.
Yeah.
I don't care. But just give me the freaking movie so we can get past the. I know it was like supposed to kick off Phase 4, but like. We're way past that now, and I would like it. I would like to end the chapter of her story.
Yeah,
and with Florence Pugh being like quote unquote the new Black Widow, like whatever happens with her, I would just like to get to that.
Yes,
and be done.
And acknowledge it and like continue on with the great trajectory that we're following. Okay, so a few things. There's a freaking dragon in a water.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's some spiritual dragon or some spirit thing, or if it's like a real dragon.
Yeah.
This dude's tripping. But like, just the effects in this trailer like show how high level Marvel's still maintaining, even in a work from home environment the past year.
Mm-hmm.
That man, their pedal
they're still
to
swinging,
the floor,
swinging to the fences, kind of thing. Yeah.
And just this guy, he looks like he's going to be a great Shang-Chi. Like, I think Josh can attest to that more than me. But
yeah,
he looks like he knows his stuff and he's ready. He just seems like he fits the character so well.
Yeah, and obviously the dad is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's he's probably the main villain.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But
there's
obviously we got some amazing Ten Ring footage.
Yes, we
and
get,
how that powers
action, and their arm rings, like,
which I'm fine with, because we got I think a lot of the reason they did that is because with the Infinity Gauntlet it went on their hand, and they don't want people to get confused of like that's just another hand
or it's like
ring
a Green
thing.
Lantern ring.
Yeah, exactly, because that's kind of what they are in the comics. It's kind of what they are, but not really what they are.
Like some alien tech, force field, push, shockwave thing.
Yes.
And yeah, it looks good. Yeah, his dad seems to be the villain, and his mom seems to be like the foil character, like bringing the calm. And she's like she's airbending leaves and stuff. Like, this is the Avatar live action that we needed this whole time. Like, we're gonna get it in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it. So
I can't say anything about Avatar because I've never watched those movies or cartoons, but.
Oh yeah,
or anime, whatever you want to call it. I'll probably get a bunch of hate like, it's not a cartoon!
No, I mean, it's very good, but yeah, right when you think like, oh, Marvel's explored it all, they like crack open another can, and they're like, you know what, we're going to go into like mysticism, like beyond Doctor Strange, we're going to go into like almost like airbending and chi and stuff. Because like we got a little bit of that in Iron Fist.
But it was Iron Fist too.
Yeah, it was Iron Fist on Netflix.
And it was on Netflix.
So yeah, his fist became yellow, and that was the extent.
Barely.
Yeah.
Here's one fist that's yellow. We never even got to. I don't even think we saw two yellow fists. I don't ever think we even got to that point.
I never finished season 2 because it was just a whole lot of talking.
Oh, man, let me tell you, those movies or that TV show.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed the character himself, and I like Finn Jones, the guy that played him.
Yeah.
But the writing, kind of crap.
It was all writing. It was all just talking and dialogue, and it wasn't that interesting.
But Shang-Chi looks like we actually get
The
to see
fulfillment
Chi in action.
Yes. They're like, yeah, we're committed to this now. Like, we're ready to bring it up a notch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Abomination?
I was going to say, there's a big bomb at the end.
Which, I was like, there at the end of the trailer where it's like, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
There's
and there's
be like a
post-credit sting. Yeah.
You're like, there's got to be something else. Okay, Aquafina, like whatever. Maybe they can end with a joke. And then, you see a sorcerer go up against Abomination, who looks much more comic-like now, with very
scaly, more alligator kind of looking, like.
Yeah, he's got some fins now. He doesn't have like vertebrae, like jutting out his back like he had before. He's still got the
weird
sternum. Yeah,
the bony sternum. But like, are they even gonna make reference to that? Like, how the hell did he even get there?
I know. It was like, was he just swimming around the raft, and that's why he's got fins and stuff now? Because like we've done a pretty weird job of acknowledging the Edward Norton Hulk. He's like, hey, Abomination's in the raft. Like, that's all we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
And now
that was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and it's what? They brought him back and he's in a fighting ring?
Yeah.
Like,
the most, out of all the places I would think to see this character, I would thought, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to see him in She-Hulk.
Because I think that would make sense, but
But seeing him in Shang-Chi makes no sense.
Now you have to think, did he get dusted during Infinity War? Like, where was he? I'm sure he could have helped, but he's probably dead.
Yeah. And is the same guy going to come back and play him? Like, can he revert back to human form? Or is he always stuck as Abomination? And is that why he evolved? Because he can't go back to, like, Hulk to Bruce and Bruce to Hulk. Abomination's just stuck as Abomination, and I can't even remember the actor that played him, but
we all know his face. That's all that
matters. Yeah. So
I don't know his name.
I don't think he can revert back to human. He looks taller. He looks
maybe he's grown
like he's evolved, and I think that's in the recent comics with all the Hulk characters like Betty Ross. Like, she's evolved into this, like, winged red Hulk, almost like devil.
Hulk has gone weird in the comics.
Yeah. And it's not, it's classic Hulk with the immortal Hulk, but it's showing, like, evolution of the Hulk. And I'm like, man, like, that is crazy that we're finally, like, the comic book movies are like, okay, let's get more weird.
Yeah.
Like, let's show how weird this character actually is.
You're theory crafting, and you're like, oh, this is super weird. And then they go and do it. Yeah. Like, that's where we're at almost, I think, in Loki, too. It's like, you're seeing all these... We had WandaVision, we had built theories, and some of them were right, some of them were wrong. And we're like, Marvel is, like, doing things that, like, fans would dream up.
Yeah.
Which is both nuts and fulfilling at the same time.
Yeah. But with, like, the Shang-Chi trailer, though, I think the movie's going to be awesome.
Yep. There's definitely... We see a struggle over the rings. Like, at some point, him and his dad and their chi or key or whatever, they're trying to pull the rings...
From one another, or...
Yep.
I don't know what's going to happen. The dragon, though, when I saw the dragon...
Yeah,
we watched it twice.
Yeah, we've got, like, an Asian giant lion, and we've got a dragon. We're going to have a Shifu or something.
That's just a lot of mystical stuff we don't see from Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
like we've
it's like a
said
different.
like we've talked about in the past. Like,
yeah,
it's Doctor Strange, but more like Asian.
Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't say that, Josh.
Oh yeah. Fine, Eastern.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited to see it, and I mean, the measure of any Marvel movie is also how well it impacts the rest of the universe. Because like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, great movie, but it didn't move the universe anywhere.
Yeah, it was more standalone.
Yeah.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, you felt a little bit more
Uh-huh.
of like, oh, the Power Stone, like, oh my gosh, like
Uh-huh.
the end of the universe
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is like, oh, here's Ego and this giant blue.
Yeah, and it's
blue
kind
blob.
of just self-revolved or resolved itself. But
Which
Shang-Chi-
I still enjoyed the movie.
Oh, yeah.
That movie,
No,
but
I
it was
love that
just
movie.
it was very self-contained.
Yeah.
Like this kind of happened, and
So
then
yeah,
it's over.
I'm interested to see, with all of Marvel movies and shows, how it plays into the larger whole, into their Phase 4 that they're building. Because yeah, we've got rapid fire. We got 4 movies the rest of the year, finishing up Loki, and then 3 other shows. And I know What If won't necessarily. It may play.
Oh, I have a theory about that.
Because yeah, we don't know. It could introduce so many different things, and then pick them up in live action if they wanted to.
Oh no, I have a theory about Loki and What If.
That it's actually What If season 1.
Yes, when she bombs the timeline,
That it makes all the what ifs.
I think that gives you what if stories.
Well, we don't know what happened. We haven't talked about Loki yet.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I
But
guess
we'll talk about Loki now.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so episode 1. Just really quick, I think they had to do something like kind of hard. Is that they had to take 2012 Loki, who just kind of got humiliated, but still had like a god complex,
Mhm.
and then take him to be like the Loki we liked in Ragnarok and Infinity War.
The Loki we've had 10 years to grow with, pretty much,
Yeah,
or 8 years.
it's
to
like
grow
he's been very very much like the anti-hero. Like, oh, you don't hate him, but like he gets away, and he's just kind of there. He's
with.
not.
It's got a mischief.
He's not good.
Yeah.
So, I was really glad that they gave him some time to like see his life and kind of feel the pain that he would have felt had he lived through that. I don't know if it was fast enough, but for a show, I was like, I can't expect him to get as much progress as he would from 2012 to whenever we get him in Infinity War.
Well, and that's some of the issues I've heard from other people talk about is that it's like we've progressed from 2012 to 2018 Loki too quick.
Yeah, I get that, because he does act like, in our minds, you have to really think about that, because it's like, oh, this is the Loki we know, and it's just like you like him, and he's acting like you would.
Yeah, he's acting like you want him to act.
Yeah, so to me, it's not a huge issue, but it's like,
I'm the same way. It's not a big deal to me.
yeah,
But there are some people out there that are like really hating.
yeah, and I could see that they tried to remedy that by like,
giving him a little bit of
he
complex.
acknowledges he's a variant and he's pulled outside this timeline, and his life is like over more or less, and like what he knows and what he's seen. But yeah, the first 2 episodes, him and Owen Wilson, like Owen Wilson and Loki is something I didn't know I needed until it's like I need a rom-com with these 2 dudes like living their life.
Give me the Wedding Crashers, but with Owen Wilson and Tom
like
Hiddleston.
just going through the timeline. Like, I love it because Owen Wilson's like, you can see his character. He's different than the rest of the TVA people. He's kind of got some heart.
Yeah.
Kind of got some humor, but some.
He's not so robotic.
Yeah.
All the other TVA
and he
guys,
loves jet skis.
Yeah. Very robotic though.
Yeah.
It's like they're almost like they're programmed.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's the only guy that could like pull the things out of Loki that he's trying to get. Like, he's working Loki and he knows he's working Loki. And I think Loki knows he's working him too, but he's kind of like letting it happen. Like the better side of Loki's like letting
Oh yeah.
letting Mobius lead him down this journey.
Because I'm episode 1. There was a couple times where like, if it was anyone else other than Owen Wilson, like dogging on Loki, I don't think it would have went as well. Because like he calls him a pussycat and like you know just a bunch of different. He like kind of belittles Loki, and like Owen Wilson is such a liked character, like from all the movies he's been in, and he's funny.
Yeah.
But I think if it was some random, I mean, not even a big actor, just a random person that was like, "Hey Loki, you're an ass." Yeah. Like I think it would have been a whole other vibe with Mobius.
No, just how Mobius has worked Loki. Like he purposely, like when he left the room, he's like, "Okay, we're gonna track him down." And when Loki came back, obviously, like he checked out the rest of his life story, and then Mobius is like, "Hey, I need your help. I'm giving you chances here, and you're letting me down."
Yeah.
And like verbalizing that, but still like giving him a chance.
Yeah. And
then I think one of the cooler moments was when Loki made the realization that this person was hiding in apocalypse times. And to me, I was like, before that, I was like, oh, this person's going to bomb Ragnarok and make it never happen, so they have Asgard. Obviously, that was smashed. That theory was smashed within a few seconds. But I was like, oh, that's so smart. They're going to take all these bombs that they've got and make it so they have Asgard in their home.
Well, I thought they were just going to blow up with all the TVA agents when they got there.
Oh.
Make it like a big a big scuffle kind of thing, and like where they're like calling backup, and then once all the backup gets there, it just blow up the TVA. But so, I mean, it didn't happen like that. But
yeah, we don't know exactly what happened because at the end of the episode 2, all these bombs are dropped. The timeline is basically nuked throughout because she had so many freaking
way more than I thought.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she's probably got like 6 or 7. She's got like probably 100.
Yeah, or more
bombs.
And on the
like, how many times have they gone after her? And like, at that point, just let her mess things up. Like, you're giving her ammunition at this point.
So with like, okay, before we like jump too hard into episode like 2, with episode 1, talking about, okay, what did you think of Miss Minutes?
Oh,
what do you think she is, and how do you think she's a part of it? Because that is, to me, there is something off with Miss Minutes. Like, it's a cute little, like, character, but there's almost something, sadistic.
Is there more to it? Because, I mean, even when Loki was, like, teasing her and messing with her, like, there's some, it's not just an AI. It's got some intelligence there.
Yeah, it's living.
Yeah.
It's a living something, but it can go in and out of, like, interface, like in and out of the computer, or
between that and the animation they showed, I got like huge Fallout vibes. That's exactly what I thought when I saw the first animate. Like, no, I love
this
it.
is the sacred timeline. I was like, that is
yeah.
Fallout 4.
Yeah. So I think that skewed me a bit because I'm like, oh, it's just like a Pip-Boy type thing. So I don't know if I see anything with her coming up more, but I mean, she appeared in episode 3 for like a second, but just as like an icon saying like, oh, your battery's low. So I don't know if anything will happen with Miss Minutes, because it's like, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen this season. I have no clue. Like, obviously the timekeepers seem like they're not there, like a Wizard of Oz man behind the curtain situation. Like, you get that impression from episode 1. Like, oh, this bad thing happened, so the timekeeper stepped in to make it right. But no one's interacting with them. No one's seeing them.
Mobius doesn't even know who they are.
Yeah, Mobius says,
and he's been around the TVA for however long.
We're all made by the timekeepers and put here, which, comes into question in episode 3. Yeah. It's just like this little bubble that they're in doesn't seem as perfect as they want to believe.
Now, where do you think the TVA is located? Do you think the TVA is located in the quantum realm?
I saw that theory. I think it would be really cool to do that. To basically say, like, it's that city that
you see in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. But I mean, if they can open another door and do that, I'm all for it too. Because then Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania can go to that city then. Yeah. But I mean, either way, it makes sense to me that TVA could be outside of like time and matter and the universe as we know it, and like overseeing multiverses, or it could be within
The quantum
realm, which I guess in a way ties it all together, because if you can time travel through it and time works differently there, then it's more or less just a portal to everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
and that's kind of what part of me wants to think like it's that, but also I think that's the Chronopolis or whatever, Kang's. I think this city is Kang's.
I've heard a lot of
in the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man 3. I don't know if that'll be it, but if it is, it's gonna be for a good season.
Yeah. And I don't know if Kang will show up. Like, there's a lot of speculation that, it's got to be Kang. Like, he's the one. He's the man behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz kind of thing. I think he's too big of a character to pull in Loki.
Yeah,
because
I know. That's what's hard. It's like no matter what, these shows still feel like shows that you can't do too much in, because we haven't seen the ramifications of them yet.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't seen something in a show happen that affects what happens in a movie, because we haven't had any movies yet. So I think going forward, if we like begin to see like, Sam is Captain America in this next movie, and like it's Captain America 4 and it's about Sam, like that's where it will, I think, settle in more and feel like, wow, these shows like do matter.
Yeah.
And they do have effects, and they can be a part of the larger MCU.
Yeah. And I think that's the goal. The ultimate goal is like, if you want to watch these TV shows and they go along with the movies perfectly, but you don't technically have to watch the TV shows. And I think that's how Kevin Feige is like really spinning the
you should make it
world.
Required viewing.
Yeah.
Like every Marvel show, you have to watch it or else. Buy all her stuff and watch it.
But yeah, like the casual fan isn't going to be like, like, oh my gosh, I guess I'm going to go on Disney Plus. I mean, I don't feel like, everyone's got Disney Plus. Everyone I've talked to is like, I have Disney Plus. I'm like, have you watched this? Like, no, I haven't. Like, why haven't you watched that?
Yeah, like it's available to you.
I mean, I know a lot of people that I'm like, watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, WandaVision's kind of different. And if you want action, like, go watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, because it's nothing but action. It's a bunch of action-packed stuff.
Yeah, they've got some good variety so far. Yeah, because Loki, to my surprise, I like it a lot more than I thought I would for how much dialogue and talking and storytelling is in it. It's not Loki fighting people like he did in Ragnarok on the Rainbow Bridge. It's Loki, like, figuring himself out, figuring out the TVA and the Timekeepers.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the guy that wrote the series, Michael Waldron. And that's the same guy that wrote a lot of the episodes for Rick and Morty.
Oh,
the same writer.
Heck yeah.
And he's writing Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
I just thought of, like, this could be Marvel's Rick and Morty. Because, like, they can go anywhere they want. They've got portals.
Yeah. And I think that's... I listened to an interview with him, and it's kind of where he talked about pulling all these different, like things from Rick and Morty. Yeah. Because Rick and Morty obviously is like a crazy cartoon, but
it's got some good storytelling.
But the story is
good groundwork, and they've got this set universe and set rules, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing in Loki. It's like, it's kind of quirky sometimes, but they've got these set rules, these set characters and places.
It's wacky but grounded.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, because I mean, freaking this lady in Loki walk through this like portal thing, end up in a totally different spot, and it's not like Loki magic or anything. It's like this technology they have. It's like a portal gun, you could say.
Yeah. But it's a portal like. iPad,
slide
iPad,
phone, flip phone, whatever it is.
One of those palm hand things from back in the day. You know what I'm talking about? We used a little pin.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
it's almost like that.
It's a little stylus. Oh my goodness! We got a future DS is what they use to teleport.
But it's just kind of the storytelling so far, and Loki has just been.
Yeah, like
it's peak.
You're like, wow, I get him back. Like he's alive and he's operating, and I mean he asks reasonable questions. He's trying to dig, and like, you don't feel like he's evil. Like, you say, or not you, but he's like, oh, I'm going to overthrow the timekeepers. But, like, I don't really believe that's what he's going to do. I think he just wants to find out what's going on.
Yeah, he's more curious.
Yeah,
and wants to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's much more, like...
He wants to know who's pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Because I think he doesn't believe a word that Mobius is telling him.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, we get that in episode 3.
Yep.
Where
they're all variants.
They're all variants.
Yep.
So, you know, and that makes... It's like it's starting to come together, but not really.
Yeah, it's like they're setting this sacred timeline up, and anyone that doesn't fit in that, they pull and use as, like, slave labor. It's their workforce.
Yes.
It's like anyone that doesn't fit in their perfect little funnel, they can just take, memory wipe, or do something to. And that's where I think Sylvie, or when she was first revealed, I was like, Lady Loki? Like, who's this going to be? Like, So Sylvie, the female Loki variant, like, the way she talked about her mother and, like, running from the TVA, it's like, it feels like almost from birth, like she's been trying to evade these people.
Mm-hmm.
And, which is nuts. I don't even know how that would happen. But
my somewhat theory that, I mean, I'm sure someone else has theorized about this too, but I think she was a previous TVA agent that kind of saw behind the scenes.
Grew wise to it. Okay.
Yeah. And then she kind of just split off and ran. But she was a Loki variant from the beginning.
Yeah.
And somehow, maybe because of her enchantment powers, she could pull memories from herself, kind of thing. Or, like, have more memories.
Ooh, I haven't heard that. That can make sense. I saw almost a meme theory that they're all Loki variants. Because, I mean, we saw, like, an ogre Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got a female Loki.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, what does it take to be a Loki? And I think our normal Loki tried to answer that. He's like, a little bit of, you know, mischief and something about being finely dressed.
Yeah. But, I mean, with Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, where did they pick him out? Did they pick him out of the 90s? Is that why he's so obsessed with the jet skis?
That's what I've heard, and that's what I theorized. Like, that's a piece of his old life, like, shining through.
And he can just barely remember it.
Yeah.
And whenever he goes and talks to Renslayer, and he's talking about the rings on the coffee table, or the table.
Yeah.
I think what they've done is they've had that Mobius, but they've reset him.
Yes.
And it's his rings every time. That's why he says, "Oh, I don't remember it." And she's like, "Oh, I have other analysts other than you."
Yeah.
Well, I think she probably does, but it's only him that ever visits her. And she's reset him so many times, and I think she's done the resetting, and that's kind of the vibe you get from her, is that she's pulling the strings, but not all of the strings.
Yeah, she's definitely like a lackey for someone.
Yeah.
And something I was interested in is someone was like, what happens when people get pruned or get hit with those glow sticks, basically? Like,
yes.
Are they
you just vanish?
Yeah. Are they sent somewhere? Are they erased from the timeline?
Are they erased in period?
Yeah.
Like non-existent. Like this person never existed.
Yeah. Which is nuts. It brings you back to the first episode where that dude was in line.
Oh yeah. Just take the number.
Yeah.
Take a number.
I'm not taking a number. Yeah. Just a little comedic moment in that first episode was good.
But like, what happened to him? Did he get sent back to where before they picked him up and they led him on? Would they lead the person on the right path of not straying off as a branch?
That's something they had said, is they lead people back and make it so like the branch doesn't happen, but we don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
Like, does that mean there's two of them? And that's probably what happens. Maybe they put someone back and take another one, and then they keep them as a little worker.
I didn't even think about that, but that would make sense.
Yeah.
And that's why Mobius remembers a life but doesn't remember a life, is because they're like, okay, he's getting too wise. Erase him, go back in time, pick him, wipe his memories.
Yeah.
Kind of then move on to the next thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many ways they could take it, and I'm like, I would love probably every single one. Like this episode, obviously Sylvie and Loki are working together to get to the Ark.
Yeah.
And as soon as Loki started seeing it, I was like, this is all like a vision. It's not real, basically. It's an illusion. And then he got thrown out of the train. I was like, okay, maybe it is.
Mm-hmm.
But just how, like, I think him flipping the building back with his, like, telekinesis, I was like, what? I was like, is Loki that strong? Like,
oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So
yeah.
I think that the whole end could be, like, him enchanting Sylvie and trying to get information out of her. Because I know Loki's careless sometimes, but I don't think he's still always got something up his sleeve. So I don't think he broke the Tim pad. I don't think.
He's playing her.
Yeah, because just even how careless he was with it, and just how nonchalant he seemed about it. He's like, oh, you know what? We're gonna make our own fate. We're gonna go get this Ark, and we're gonna hijack it and get it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
he's a little too like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, it's like, come on, there's no way. Like, I know he's accepted his old like death and timeline, but now it feels like he wants to do something new and figure things out. So I feel like he wouldn't just give up and just kind of throw in the towel on the one way they had. So I'm sold on that. The last half of the episode was all just like in her mind, and then they're gonna wake up and like get out of there like easy.
Or because he asked her, I think it was on the train, like, how do you enchant people? And she's like, yeah, I don't know, I taught myself.
Yeah, she explained it to him a little bit. And Loki before was like, oh, that's just a simple thing, like it's amateur.
Yeah.
And we've seen Loki do illusions and telekinesis. So I imagine enchantment is something he could do, and just tapping into how she does it is, and maybe it's what sold her, because she fell asleep, and Loki didn't.
Oh,
as far as we know.
That's crazy, because I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
The whole time she could have been asleep. It could have been.
Yep.
An enchantment from him.
Yep. Because they were both like, "Hey, I'm not falling asleep. I'm not falling asleep."
Mm-hmm.
They go this back and forth like they had the whole episode.
Yeah.
And
he's
he
like,
fell asleep.
You rest the way you want to rest, and I'll rest the way I want to rest.
And then next thing we know, he's getting
drunk and singing, and maybe that's why
he was in his variant costume, like attracting attention, like very clearly, like doing things that even Loki wouldn't want to do right there.
Yeah.
Like, he's a master of blending in and doing the things he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think he's working her very well right here.
Yeah, that is a good theory, man. I didn't even think about that. You gotta put that on Reddit.
I might. No, I thought about that when I was watching it, but it kind of, for me, went out a little bit. Like, when he got thrown out, I was like, man, Loki wouldn't do that to himself, but... I mean,
because he got thrown out so easy.
Yeah,
he could have overpowered those two guards. Like, he's an Asgardian.
I know,
and these are just two weird. Not Asgardian, but kind of, you know.
Yeah, I know, that's where it's like, okay, then if it's real, then Loki isn't living up to his like Ragnarok self.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he got beat up by like a regular dude in episode 2, in the shopping mall, which was kind of strange. So it's like
he's not the strongest. He's not like strong like Thor, but like I still feel like he's a frost giant.
Yeah.
Or and he's like part Asgardian or like whatever you want to call it.
Between that and some of the powers he displayed, like he almost did like a force push on someone with his green magic, and then he lifted the building back. Like he just stared at it. I was like, I don't know if that's accurate or like it's an illusion thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could go either way, but it's either they go through all this trouble to like basically make their own fate and get off, and it doesn't work, and there is like a secret timeline that's set. No matter what happens, or it's this whole time it's just been an illusion. I'd love for it to be that, because I mean, one, it makes sense, and it'd be exactly what a lot of people want. But also, it's like it was a really good way to get backstory for Sylvie without flashbacking and stuff, because I didn't see really any other way for us to find out more, because we got like, oh, she didn't know her mother, like Loki knew his mother, and she's been running for years, and Loki just got with the TVA as far as he knows. Yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely more of a side quest episode, but I did read some opinions too that kind of helped solidify why I felt the way I felt, which was overall good. Is that they never like stopped trying to get back to the TVA. It was like their goal was to get back to the TVA, or Loki's goal was to figure out her motivations and
why you're doing it, and what you're doing it for.
I think they accomplished both of those. It's like this whole episode they're moving to try to get back, and Loki's trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't episode 1 and 2. Episode 1 obviously was like throwing a book at you and being like, boom, like
here's this whole new world.
Yeah. This is what you gotta know going forward. Episode 2 was like, okay, now you know like what the TVA is about. Now we're gonna find this variant Loki.
Yeah.
And how she hides in apocalypses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was like a duo team up. Like, hey, now you know everything. We're gonna team up. We're gonna find her. And then it had the ups and downs that you would expect. And this one's like, okay, all the plans are out the window.
Yeah.
And now she needs to get back to fulfill her plan. He needs to figure out what her plan is. And I think it's a good opportunity.
And I think, like you said, I think he's definitely playing her, because I think he and Mobius made a connection, and I don't think he's just gonna betray Mobius like that. I mean, that's my theory, but it's still Loki, so you don't really know.
I know Loki betrays, he's betrayed Thor and he betrays people, but he often shows remorse for it, and he often makes up for it eventually. Like, the Loki in the Avengers is like very clearly like striving for power and stuff.
Yeah,
and he's set that way. And in Thor 2, you kind of see this disheveled Loki start to come around a bit. And then Thor Ragnarok 3, it's like he's still the same Loki, but he's like, he appreciates Thor more. He appreciates that it's not all about him.
Yeah.
And I think we've kind of skipped over a bunch of that character development, but I think he's in the stage where he knows it's not all about him.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
Which is, man, that's just Tom Hiddleston. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna play Loki like I know how to play him.
Yeah. Which is I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I love that we're seeing a more like charismatic. Like when he's singing in episode 3, it was so intoxicating, because I'm like, is he singing like a Norse? Like, is he singing a Norse? Yeah, like a lullaby, or just like a little shanty, like a sea shanty. Like, what the hell is this? But I want more of it.
Yes. I'm gonna have to go on the list for that.
But it's just stuff like that. I enjoy the Loki we're getting, even though we're not getting the character build up that we got before. But I'm still fine with it. Yeah. We've had that story. That book's kind of ended. We're on a variant Loki.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it.
Yeah. Like, we've seen him feel a lot. We've seen him question a lot. Like, this is a Loki who's not on top, and he knows it, and he's trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
And that's super compelling for him to just like to watch this story. You're like, he's not going to be like the top dog ever. That's just not his
it's
place.
not his path.
Yeah, he's always second.
Yeah.
So to see like where he ends up with Mobius and the TVA and with Sylvie, I'm like, are they gonna get together like Loki's? Like,
yeah. Well, that's they kind of almost hint at that, but at the same time not, because it get like super like those emotional moments where they're talking about like, have you ever loved, or do you have someone waiting for you? We find out Loki is bisexual.
Yeah, he's like, oh, a bit of both.
Yeah,
but never like anything
serious.
Yeah,
and then she talks about like the postman or whatever, like she's hanging out with. But I don't know if they'll get together or not. But it's just they tease it, but not tease it. You know what I mean? They like, I'm sure they're playing with people's heartstrings. Like, because I'm, a lot of people.
Can Loki get with himself?
Yeah. Can he score with himself? Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I wonder what child that would, like Loki, we make Loki, and just have Loki spawn.
Eichel.
But yeah, episode 3, the whole planet and the
Lemuria.
The effects. I'm like, yes, we have a TV show with like quality put into it. That it's not like crummy CGI and like, oh, it's passable because it's TV. It's like this could be in a theater and it's like still holding up.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're at a 3-hour movie practically.
Oh gosh, I know, and I don't want to.
And you don't even.
There's only 3 more.
You don't even think about that when you're watching the episodes, but if you watch them back to back to back,
yeah,
I'm like, holy crap, it's a 3-hour movie almost.
Yeah.
You just don't think about it because it's like a TV show.
Yeah. I can't like. I always let Josh know when I watch it, and I'm like, oh man, I have to wait a whole week. Like, because you like the new show comes out and you're like, oh, I want to watch it, and you want to make room for it. So every day when I get home from work, sit down with me and Juliana and we watch it. And like that's the first thing we do. Like we eat dinner and watch it at the same time because we're like, this is too important.
Yeah.
And it was same way with WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's like some days I would get up early before work and watch it. And like most shows, like I don't care if I watch them like months after they come on. But these, I'm like, I have to be there the day of. And it's like, it's such a benefit and a detriment because now I'm like, oh, I have to wait 7 full days before I can watch this again.
How many times have you watched episode 3?
Oh, I've only watched it the one time, but I've got like photogenic memory, so I could probably play through the whole thing, and like I could probably detail the uniforms the train guards were wearing. They look like birds.
Yeah. Weird blue.
Yeah, the blue and the helmets.
I've watched it twice now. We watched it last night with Ashley, obviously, and then, wait, was it last? Yeah, today's Thursday. I'm like, when did we watch it?
We've moved dates for this a few times.
When you have a kid, man, every day is just like it blurs together. But we watched it last night, and I watched it again today at lunch because I knew we were gonna be talking about this, and I like fell asleep at the end of the episode last night, so I was like, crap, I need to catch up and rewatch some of this. But I mean, I was like, I'll just watch it at lunch tomorrow. But
gosh, I should have. I was too busy reading theories today at work. I was on Reddit and Twitter and I'm just brainstorming and thinking like what I thought. And I mean, I know WandaVision was a great show for it, but this one is like
it's this peak. In my opinion, this is better than Winter Soldier and better than WandaVision. So like as of now, I mean, the last 3 episodes of Loki could totally piss me off, and it goes to the bottom of my list. but as of now, it goes...
It's incomplete ranking.
It goes Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, I love Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I kind of expected what I was going to get.
Yeah.
And, like, I obviously love, like, Sam Wilson as Captain America, because, like, that, I mean, Steve Rogers Captain America is, like, obviously, like, amazing, but I read the Sam Wilson Captain America comics, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And like I enjoy the character, and I enjoyed what they did with those characters, and like Bucky and everything. But I kind of knew what I was getting into. Yeah,
very expected.
Yeah,
there wasn't any like
not dogging.
twist.
Yeah, I'm not dogging the show that was bad. It was just.
It's what you expected.
Yeah, it's what I expected. I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, in a different way than like if Loki turns out to be doing this illusion the whole time, or if there isn't anyone behind the TVA. It's like, yeah, it would be different. Yeah, because, I mean, that show is grounded. This one is like, it's got so much more possibility. It's more of the Marvel, like, whoa, like, oh my god. Where, you know, Falcon Winter Soldier was like an espionage kind of, like... tactical.
Yeah. More like Winter Soldier. But, I mean, I like Winter Soldier a lot more than what I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. But it was just one of those things where I wake up on Wednesday morning and I'm like, holy crap, I cannot wait to go home tonight and watch Loki. Yeah. But when Falcon and Winter Soldier was coming out on Fridays, I woke up and I was like, I'm excited for the show, but I'm not as excited for the show as I was for Wanda. When WandaVision come out, I was like, holy crap, it's WandaVision day. Like, let's get down and watch this shit.
Yeah, that's why I think WandaVision's still my top, and we had a few more episodes, and I'm biased because I loved the whole like TV theme.
Oh yeah.
I'm a sucker for that. So yeah, mine would probably be WandaVision first, and then Loki, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I felt like Falcon and Winter Soldier just it did what it had to do to get characters where they were going and where they needed to be. And like I said, it was a good show, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like you could wait till the end of the day and be on Twitter and be fine because like there wasn't anything to spoil that much. There wasn't any like huge storytelling pieces where like, oh crap.
Yeah.
It was like, I think the worst thing that happened is I saw a suit early.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
but I
knew
kind of,
that was happening.
but I knew what the suit was gonna look like because it's almost a 1-for-1 of the comic.
Yeah.
And I was, it's kind of cool how they got to that point because it's like here's a Wakandan Captain America, like spangled suit, Falcon suit. Yes. So which is super cool.
And he's African American. Yeah. Okay, that speech though, like it was. I guess every show is dealing with something different. Like WandaVision is dealing with like the theme of like love and loss,
mm-hmm.
and like how to deal with that and this mystical power and the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And then Falcon and Winter Soldier was dealing more with like morality and justice.
Yeah.
And like
racism
duty.
in the United States and
and
just
duty
all that kind
and
of stuff.
Yeah. And like, gosh, I loved the messages in Falcon and Winter Soldier more than I loved any of the messages in the other shows so far. And in Loki, it's like question everything. Like
you don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
What's actually going to happen?
Yeah.
Are these TVA guys a legit thing, or are they just some Wizard of Ozing, like man behind the curtain? You don't know. But at the end of the day, like I said, I still like Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was just it's not my number one.
Mm-hmm.
Loki, as of now, is my number one. But I was hyped for Loki as soon as they announced Loki because I was like, Norse mythology, like that's my go-to. And obviously, I love the characters in the movies already, so I was like, Loki's gonna be the thing.
I'm waiting to see some of the stuff like the promo because I know the DB Cooper thing and jumping on the train. That was just like a throwaway, and that was so funny.
Yeah,
but
that was amazing.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see like when we get the Loki pin and like in the mayor or whatever.
Oh, President Loki.
And like where he's and where he's wearing his horns and stuff. It's like when is that gonna happen? Because like the Loki we have now isn't anywhere close to that.
Yeah, but is that the President Loki? Is that another variant?
Yeah, I mean
that they haven't caught yet.
That could be a thing with Loki. It's like every season could be a new variant, or it could be the same one meeting other variants.
Mm-hmm.
They could do so much.
I was gonna say there is a lot they can do with Loki.
Because I was listening to something earlier. Actually, Josh made me listen to something earlier at work, an hour and a half of something, and they brought up that basically like this is a multiverse, and like in my understanding it is too, because it's like they're taking people from different timelines, which when there's only supposed to be one, that like how does that work?
How does it make sense? Yeah,
it's like they've got to be different, or it's like,
or is there
actually like infinite timelines and they don't really care about a sacred one or anything. I don't know.
Yeah, propaganda of the TVA, just saying that there's one secret timeline and they're full of shit.
Yeah, I know. There's because Marvel is yet to really crack open the multiverse, like in traveling between it. But we've dealt with timelines a little bit in Endgame, so it's now we have like infinite timelines and infinite multiverses, and with that you have unlimited variety in like what you can accomplish and what you can do. So I think my favorite what if this just made me think of like the what ifs is like probably the Marvel zombies, because just even from that first promo they showed with zombie Cap.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah,
I love zombie anything, and zombie Marvel is no exception.
Well, and you got the other what if would be like right up there on that poster.
Oh yeah.
You've got Captain America, or I guess Captain Britain, Peggy Carter, and you got Party Thor, and Doctor Strange. Like we don't even know what they're gonna do with him, but I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that Iron Man is supposed to team up with Killmonger. And then what if? I don't even know how that would work.
The dead Killmonger.
Yeah. But I don't even know how that would work, but it still interests the hell out of me. And then Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, final performance.
And sad, but I guess he's the Star-Lord. And that was what made me think, whenever she bombed the timeline, she bombed an ego on the TV screen. I don't know if you read all the. Oh man, you got to go back and look at all the different names. So she bombed like an ego timeline, and a Xandar timeline, and a Hala, like where Captain Marvel's from, and a bunch of different places. And in a little bit, we might have to show you before you leave.
Okay.
But it's just like you pause it and you're like, holy crap! Like, and that's what I thought. Like, what if that is how we get the what if stories? Like these different spots and times that she bombs.
Yeah, it's like episode 2 ends and we see all the trees and pathways diverging, and then they walk through the door, and we're in episode 3 and we don't deal with any of that.
No, we don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
and other than them branching off into more branches and more branches and more branches.
Yeah, and we know that the TVA is basically emptying itself to go fix it because they get through the whole place and they get presumably right outside the doors to where the keepers are, or something close to that. They're on their way. Yeah,
or I think what it was is they're going to the elevators, and I think the elevators take you to the timekeepers, but I don't think it's like in the same building. I think like you go to this elevator and it takes you to a doorway, and then like, or one of their magic portal doorways, and then it takes you to the timekeepers or
whatever's in there.
Whatever's said. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, we have 3 more episodes
next week.
Yeah, we're only freaking 6 days away now. This has been a long 6 days, but well, I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up because we're an hour in, and I feel like that was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, we talked about a lot. Talked about some Marvel games, Loki, Shang Chi trailer that just came out
tonight, and that was kind of the thing.
We kind of stalled.
We stalled for quite a while before even starting the podcast because we're like, man, we have to talk about this trailer.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this trailer. And when it came out today, when I sent it to you on Twitter, I was like, holy crap! Like, let's go. Yes. This is going to be awesome, especially on the night we were recording the first podcast.
We finally did it.
Which, if you are listening to the podcast, thank you so much for listening. And you have to go like our page on Instagram. It's at Full Scope Comics Podcast. And subscribe to this channel. And like the content. And leave a comment on what you guys think. And, obviously this is our first podcast ever.
It will only get better from here.
It will get better from here. Like, I understand, like, the first podcast is always going to be, like, the more shaky one. But, like, I promise if you guys show us some love and support and, like, tell us your theories and, all sorts of stuff, we'll try to make the best podcast ever. Because that's been my goal for the past, like, year and a half is really want to do a podcast, and just having a kid and the time, it's super hard.
Yes,
but
he's moved a few times.
Yeah, I've moved 3 times in 2.5 years. So it's finally I'm finally at a place where I feel like we can do the podcast consistently.
Yes. My goal is to help Josh make it happen, and I work on social media quite a bit in my day job. So I'm like, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it happen. And
I mean, there's people out there that start podcasts like a couple years ago and they're super successful, and I think if we get a lot of people to listen, we'll be super successful too. So if you listen to this, we really appreciate you listening to it.
Yes, absolutely.
And I guess
we'll be back.
We'll be back. Schedule wise, I'm not sure when we're gonna drop episodes yet because we're still figuring that out. We're still trying to figure.
We're fluid.
The minutia of the schedule,
life,
but
yes.
The goal is to at least have an episode every week, and like an hour episode, or as around an hour would be the best. But
frankly, I think we needed it for this because we didn't even cover all we could cover. I know it's like you have to dig a little bit here, you have to skim over here. It's like you just go wherever your mind leads you.
And there's a lot more we can do next time. And that made me realize too, like, whenever I'm watching these TV shows now, I'm gonna start taking notes.
Oh my gosh!
So I can know, like, boom, 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 boom. Because there's so many good things that, at 10 o'clock tonight, I'm gonna be laying in bed and think, like, I should have talked about this.
I know, exact same way. And it's funny, me and Josh, we try to avoid certain conversations throughout the week so we don't, like, use up our brain power. And we gotta save it for it's like, no, save it for the podcast.
Yes.
Like, I know we want to talk about this, but save it for the podcast. So you're getting the first time we talk about this show. So
yeah,
love Josh, love doing this, and yeah, Full Scope Comics on Instagram, and I think Full Scope Comics on YouTube as well.
Yep,
we'll be there, and it will only get better from here. So thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode, hopefully coming soon. Thank you for listening.